Hello friends, I hope you are doing well. Today we have a chilling story to share with you. It's the tale of Jake, a 20-year-old who experienced something truly terrifying. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into Jake's harrowing experience. Jake was an ordinary young man, living a seemingly normal life. But one fateful night, everything changed. He found himself trapped in a nightmare that he couldn't escape from. The story begins in a small, isolated town where the air was thick with mystery and the shadows seemed to have a life of their own. Jake had always been a curious soul, often exploring places that others would avoid. One evening he decided to venture into an old abandoned house on the outskirts of town. Little did he know this decision would lead him into a world of fear and uncertainty. As he stepped inside, the door creaked shut behind him, and an eerie silence enveloped the room. The air was cold, and the darkness seemed to press in from all sides. Jake's heart began to race as he realized he was not alone. Jake, a 20-year-old, was locked in a big old house by his father. The house stood isolated in a dark forest, far from town. His father, in a moment of anger and confusion, had accidentally locked Jake inside, thinking he had left the door unlocked. The house was deathly quiet and dark. Jake was utterly alone. The house itself was a relic of the past, with creaking floorboards and walls that seemed to whisper secrets. Jake wandered through the dimly lit rooms, his footsteps echoing in the silence. He tried to find a way out, but every door he tried was locked, and the windows were barred shut. His father, unaware of his mistake, had left the house, leaving Jake to fend for himself. As the hours passed, the sense of dread grew stronger. Jake could feel the presence of something sinister lurking in the shadows. The night brought with it a new level of terror. Strange noises filled the air, whispers, creaks, and footsteps that seemed to come from nowhere. Jake's fear turned to panic as he realized he was not alone in the house. At night he heard strange noises, whispers, creaks, and footsteps. He felt like someone was watching him, following him from room to room. Terrified, Jake screamed for help, but his cries were swallowed by the silence. His father, unaware of his mistake, never returned to let him out. Desperate, Jake searched the house for a way out. Every door and window was locked. He scoured every room for a key, but found none. The house seemed to shift and twist like a maze. Jake felt like he was walking in circles, lost in a never-ending nightmare. The feeling of being watched grew stronger with each passing moment. Jake could sense eyes on him, but whenever he turned around, there was nothing there. The shadows seemed to move on their own, creating shapes that vanished as quickly as they appeared. His screams echoed through the empty halls, but no one came to his aid. The silence was deafening, and the darkness seemed to close in around him. Jake's mind raced with thoughts of escape, but every attempt was met with failure. He tried to break the windows, but they were unyielding. The doors were solid and refused to budge. It was as if the house itself was determined to keep him trapped inside. Jake's desperation grew with each passing hour. He searched every nook and cranny, hoping to find a hidden exit or a key that would set him free, but the house offered no such reprieve. The locked doors and windows seemed to mock him, reminding him of his helplessness. The walls felt like they were closing in, and the air grew colder with each passing moment. He scoured every room for a key, but found none. The house seemed to shift and twist, like a maze. Jake felt like he was walking in circles, lost in a never-ending nightmare. The house seemed to have a life of its own, changing and distorting as Jake moved through it. The walls seemed to breathe and the floors shifted beneath his feet. Jake felt like he was walking in circles, lost in a never-ending nightmare. The sense of disorientation was overwhelming and he struggled to keep his bearings. One night the footsteps came closer. Jake hid under a bed, holding his breath. The footsteps stopped outside the room. Through the crack under the door, Jake saw a shadow, a tall figure with no face. The shadow lingered, then vanished. Jake emerged from his hiding place, his heart racing. Jake hid under a bed, holding his breath. The footsteps stopped outside the room. Through the crack under the door, Jake saw a shadow, a tall figure with no face. The shadow lingered, then vanished. Jake emerged from his hiding place, his heart racing. The footsteps stopped outside the room. Through the crack under the door, Jake saw a shadow, a tall figure with no face. The shadow lingered, then vanished. Jake emerged from his hiding place, his heart racing. Through the crack under the door, Jake saw a shadow, a tall figure with no face. The shadow lingered, then vanished. Jake emerged from his hiding place, his heart racing. The shadow lingered, then vanished. He knew he had to escape before it was too late. He found a small window open a crack. Squeezing through it, he fell onto the grass outside. He ran through the forest, tripping and falling. Finally, he saw a light in the distance, a small cottage. He knocked on the door, and an old woman answered. She took him in and called the police. When the police found Jake's father, he was devastated to learn what had happened. He explained how he had mistakenly locked Jake in the house, never realizing the severity of his actions. The police understood it was an accident, but Jake's father still faced consequences for his negligence. Jake never went back to that house again. Though he was free, he never forgot the terror he felt in that dark, silent place. His relationship with his father was strained, but with time and understanding, they worked through the ordeal together. Jake's father sought help for his anger issues, and Jake found solace in the support of his friends and family. He explained how he had mistakenly locked Jake in the house, never realizing the severity of his actions. If you enjoyed Jake's story, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to stay updated with our latest content. Share this video with your friends and leave a comment below with your thoughts. Thank you for watching.